Good morning once again. Today we're going to discuss how to navigate through our Markdown in generating a research output, a thesis output, even a dissertation, or even a book. Many books have already been generated or produced using our Markdown. So if you can produce a book or a dissertation using our Markdown, definitely you can, of course, create a research output uh, in our Markdown. And the the requirement for this course is you're going to generate research outputs, quote unquote, using data that you have gathered, okay, based on topics that I'll be assigning to you. All right. So as I said, when you generate an output, okay, when you use an R, when you try to generate an output, the best thing to do is not to just save your RMD file or R script file in any folder in your computer. The best thing to do is to organize your data in such a way that a particular project, a particular, let's say, a particular study, a particular research, all the documents that are related to that is gathered or is collected in an R project. So, for example, your first research output will be about time series. So that's ARIMA and vector error correction model. Okay, so we will quickly go through this, although my students in FINSAR have done this in the past, but this will be quite a review, and it's part of financial analytics. So that will be the first required output, and then followed by portfolio management. So how will you conduct it? You should you should do it in such a way that all your files, whether it be your data files or your R script file or RMD file, should be saved in a particular folder called, and you can call it any way you want it, but it should be stored in an R project. Okay, so how do we create an R project? So that's the first thing we'd like to know. How do we create an R project? So if you take a look at the interface, let me just so we know that if you, I hope you watched the video for those of you who haven't used R for the first time. May I just have a show of hands, honesty principle? Who among you were able to watch the video that I posted? Especially for those of you who, I'm asking those who are using R for the first time. Don't have to, just yes or no. You don't have to, uh, I will appreciate you if you're honest about it. I will not take this against you if you haven't watched the video. Just yes or no, so that I have an idea who among you were already able to watch the video that I proposed that you watch, so that you'll have a working knowledge of R already. Yes or no, please? Okay, thank you. How about the others? I got a lot of responses a while ago dun sa mga hindi pa nakakagamit ng R. Okay, so all right, you have until Tuesday morning to watch the videos kasi hindi ko na uulit yung discussions doon, ano? That will serve as our discussion already. So wala man lang nakapanood. No one of you. Okay, nasa ano na siya, nasa model 1 natin. Just to be sure that you know where to find that, nasa module siya, no? It's in our modules. Module number 1. Okay, so we have here 3 videos, 1.9, 1.11, and 1.12. The file that will be used, that was used in these videos is this one, RMD file, data and data structures. Okay, meron pang isang video dito pero maiksi lang to, no? Okay. Okay, so as I was saying, when you open an R, when you either remember, you can use an R notebook, R Markdown, or an R script, or even a Quarto document, R Quarto presentation. Whenever you open any of this, it's best to open it inside a project. Okay, so you either open an R script, a Quarto document, a Quarto presentation, an R notebook, an R Markdown inside the project that's related to the project that you're doing. Because if you don't do that, what will happen is that, for example, you open an R Markdown file. Let's open this. Okay, and if it's not part of a project, then there are many things that could happen with this file. So this file is it's actually untitled yet. Okay, this file is an R Markdown file, no title yet. I haven't saved it. That's why you can see here that this is untitled, and I haven't saved this file. No? So when it's possible when there's a power outage, or sometimes your computer can go wrong and you lose this file gets lost, you won't be able to recover it. Okay, unlike if it's inside a project. If it's inside the project, whatever happens, it will automatically be saved inside that folder. So it's very important that we start knowing how to make use of the R project. So how do you open an R project? Okay, and what's the purpose of that? For documentation purposes, for also for organizing your data, organizing your files. So when you open that project, and then when you open a file inside that project, then that file becomes automatically saved. So there's lesser chance for that file to get lost. So back to my question, how do you open a project? There are several ways to do that. One way is to go here to File. Okay, so when you click File, you can see here that there's this option, New Project. Okay, so it's File and then New Project. Okay, so let's open a new one, New Project. All right, then since I have here opened a files belonging to a different projects, I will just save this. Okay, for you, in your case, if you're not opening a new file or an existing file, you can just click Don't Save. For me, I'll just save it, Save. Okay, and then it will lead me to the process, to the steps to open a new R project. Okay, so here, create a project so I can identify the directory. So it's important for you to identify in which directory you're going to save your project. So it's your choice. You can save it in your C drive or in your desktop. Okay, so choose a location which is easily accessible to you. So in my case, I usually put it in the desktop. So I'll put here new directory. Okay, new directory, and then here, new project. New directory, new project. Okay, then it asks for the directory name. So define a directory name that will be very let's say relevant for you. Okay, so I'll first create a directory. Okay, so directory, let me just call it FINLYTS. FinOnly K31. And then I'll just put the term 1 AY 2023 to 2024. Okay, I'm using this name. You can name it any way you want. Okay, all right, and then we identify the directory. Create project as a subdirectory of. So where do I want to put it? Okay, so you can browse. So saan ko siya gustong i-save. I can browse it. I'll just save it in my desktop. So here, there. So part of my desktop. So it will be created in my desktop. And then I'll click open. All right, so you can now see that create project as a subdirectory of my, in my case, it's C users admin and then desktop. So it will be on my desktop. Okay, so if I open my desktop, I will see this folder, FINLYTS, FinAnli. Okay, all right. Are you following? Are you following so far, class? For those of you who are my students, also create your new R project. Okay. The rest, are you able to follow? Please tell me if I'm going too fast. No? Kindly chat, please, if you're following so far. You have reached this point. Okay, good. Okay, so here, and then, so you can create here. You can click this one, open in a new session. Okay, so let's click this, open in a new session, and then create project. Okay, what happened, class? Comment, please, what happened when you open the new project? Okay, walang script. Okay, what else, class? What do you notice, class? New RStudio window, yes, an empty RStudio. Okay, that's correct. Okay, may I ask everyone to please give me their feedback if they were able to create this R file. Okay, good, good. All right, so let's quickly navigate through this first before we check our. Okay, you can see that. What's your default class? Do you see four window panes? 3. Okay. So what's missing, class? What's missing? Di ba 4 window panes yan? Andito si script window. Okay. We have the environment window here. We have the console. We have the files, plots, packages. So what's missing here? Okay, wala yung, yeah, correct. Wala yung script window, no? So how do we show the script window, class? It's not as if it's lost. No? It's just hidden there. You just have to adjust the size of your environment window. How do you adjust the size of your environment window? Anyone? You're correct. No, hindi. And for some of you, you might have a different interface. Okay, so let me see this first. Drag down. Ano ita-drag down ko? Glenn, could you kindly unmute yourself? Pwede? Okay. Yeah, correct. Correct, Michael. So you can see here this one, diba? Ito. But if you click this, yan, lalabas na yung script window. Ma-de-size na yung environment window. If I click this again, if I click this man yung maximum na to, okay, mawawala naman si script, si environment, no? So it's just sizing up, just adjusting the size. So if I click this one, so the boxes class, mag-a-adjust siya. Because sometimes you might just want to maximize the space for the script window here and not want to see the environment window. Okay. Okay, correct. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, you and Michael. Okay, thank you, Glenn. Pwede rin yung drag down. Okay, so once again, this is for the benefit of those of you who are using R for the first time. Okay, so what do you notice, class? What is the name of the file? What's the name of the project? Di ba nasa taas dito? That's the name of the project. FINLYTS, FINLY K31 in my case, T1 AY 2020, dapat 2023 to 2024 to. I'll just change that later. And then it's in RStudio, di ba? Okay. And then you can see here the root directory. This is the take note. Take a look at this, no? And take a look at the extension. This is .rproj. Okay. So this is very important. Okay, .rproj. If you click this, it will lead you to that R project, which is this one. Okay, so you can see here the root directory .rproj. This is the one that we generated a while ago. We set up. Now later on, you will be putting here files like data files. Okay, so you put the data file inside the R project itself. So if you have a data file that you're using to analyze, to conduct some statistical analysis, and then it's an external file, then you will have to upload it in the project itself, and it will appear here. Okay, so that way any file, whether it be a let's say a image file, whether it's a JPEG file, PNG file that you're going to use in consonance with your R file, then load it always to the R project. Load it here, so you can see it here. Okay, and it makes the use of R really more efficient, because you will not have to identify the location. Okay, all right. So let's visit first the location. I go to my I go here to my desktop. Okay, so asan siya, no? So ito. Let me check. Let me see if I can change the 2024 dapat. Okay, hindi. Kasi nakabukas po siya. Dapat i-close ko muna. Mamaya ako na babalitan yung pangalan. So, under my desktop, I can see here a folder. No? Ito yung folder na to. Pag binuksan ko to, okay, you can see here that this is the our project. No? Okay, then I can now create also subdirectories. So for example, later on we'll be doing ARIMA, then we can create now another R project inside an R project. So this is supposed to be where all your files are gathered for this subject, and then you might have different directories, subdirectories. You'll have a different R project for, let's say, lesson number 1, a different project for lesson number 2, a different project for lesson number 3. All of it is contained in your main R project, which is, in my case, it's FINLYTS, FINLY. Okay. And then later on, I can create another R project inside this one containing another R project. Okay. Okay, let's do that as an example. Okay, so for example, I'm going to create another project, file, new project, new directory, or I can, if I choose existing directory, okay, so this is the directory that I'm using now, right? This one. So it's under desktop and then under this one. Okay. Let's see if I open now. If I go to browse, so that will be here. If I click this one, all right. So it's now under this folder, right? A while ago, what we used was under desktop. But since I'm going to create another R project inside an R project, I will have to identify the specific folder I'm loading it to. A while ago, I just used a desktop, but now I'm loading it into this main folder. So if I click this, open, all right. So notice it's now under desktop and then the folder FINLYTS. Open in a new session. Okay. If I create object, okay, what do I now have? If I go here, if I go to my desktop, okay, and this is the folder that I created a while ago. All right, what happened, class? What happened? Is there any difference? What happened in your case, class? Remember, I first loaded in desktop this folder, right? This project. And then inside this project, I also loaded another project. Pero pareho lang siya, di ba? Pareho lang yun, yung pangalan. Okay, so it's the same thing, right? Class, do you get me? But notice, ilan yung instances na ng R nakabukas? Dalawa na, di ba? This one and this is another one. No? Pero actually pareho lang siya. But two instances of FINLYTS FinOnly. What happened in your case, class? Feedback, please. Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, correct. No new directory created. Okay. So, what did I want to point out there? Bakit hindi nag-create ng new directory? What do you think, class? One project file, okay. But okay, same project. These are all correct answer. One project file, same project. But there was one step that we did a while ago, which was which we could have. Yeah, ito no. You paki-explain you.
Sir, because earlier we created a new project, but instead of creating a new directory, we just used the
Yes,
existing directory.
correct. Kasi linagay lang natin sa existing directory, di ba? So, ang point ko dun, if you're going to create another project inside the project, dapat not sa existing directory. So let's repeat that process. No? I just wanted to point that out to you. No? So let me close this. Okay. I go here. So once again, file, new project. Okay. Dito kasi, this is what we used a while ago, di ba? So dito, new directory, okay, and then new project. And then we give it the name. So let's create now, for example, Arima, no? Time series. We're going to have a brief review, time series, Arima, and then Garch, and then vecm, var vecm. Okay. So once again, open a new session, and then, okay, where do you want to put it? Here, we can browse. Okay, instead of putting it in the desktop, we put it inside this one, diba? So inside this folder, which we created, which we will consider as our main folder. Okay, so open, all right, and then I'll open it in a new session to check. So you now can see that it's now a project as a subdirectory of the first project that we created. Create project. Okay. Now you can see that this project is time series Arima. This is what I created, right? Time series Arima. And inside this is also another root directory, our project. So this is different from the R project that we created a while ago, the FINLYTS. Okay, so this is another project inside a project. If I go here to our main, okay, here desktop, okay, here I have FINLYTS there, and this is the initial R project that we have, right? And inside this main project, I created another project, time series. If I click this, then I have this. Okay, so if I want to open a particular project, I can just click this. Okay, there. See, it's the same R project, right? And how many now instance of time series project do I have now opened? I have two now, because I already opened one a while ago, and then I reopened it. So I'll just close this. Okay, so I now have two instances of R. Now this is very helpful, especially if you're if you're op- if you're using several projects at the same time. Okay, any questions so far, class? Clarifications? Kindly chat please if so far clear yung pag-open ng R project. All right. So what's the purpose of opening using R projects? Okay, it allows you to organize your data. So suppose you're doing a project on time series, and you have data, the data that you're using for this particular project. Okay, it's best to save that data here. Okay, and as we go along, you'll see the advantage of saving the data in a specific R project. Okay, it makes coding for accessing the data a lot simpler, a lot simple. Okay, for instance, you don't need to identify the file location. Since the data is already inside your R project, R will automatically know that the file location is the one that's inside your R project. Okay, good. Thank you. All right. So that's how I really recommend that you organize your files. Okay. So before, when I didn't mind the project, no, I was a young user of R before. So hindi ko masyado pinapansin yung R project. And I lost several files already. There was one file that I was working on, tapos mga more than 1,000 lines of code na siya. Hindi ko na-save. So, hindi ko siya na-save. What happened was, nagkaroon ng power failure, nawala yung R file na yun. So, talagang really in tears na ako kasi grabe. So many hours of wasted effort. No? Nasayang lang yung ginawa ko. And then I discovered tong R project. So ever since, ganun na ginagawa ko. When I open an R file, okay, I save it inside the R project. Okay, so for example, mag-example lang tayo. Let's go to yung time series natin. Did I close it already? Yeah. So I'm here. I'm here in our time series project. Let me access the script window. All right. So if you want to change, for those of you who forgot how to change the interface, you can go here to tools, and then global options. Okay. If you want the same interface as what I'm using, you can go here to tools, and then global options here. Then under global options, on the right portion here, on the left portion, you have appearance. You click appearance, and then you can choose here the font size. I'll just make it maybe a little bit bigger, 18. And then here are editor's theme. Okay, I'm using now Cobalt. This is Cobalt. The default is Chrome. I'm sure this is what you were getting. Okay, it's really up to you if you want. You can have some options here: ambience, chaos. Yung chaos. Ayoko yung masyadong dark yung background. Chrome yung white lang. May clouds din. Okay, I'll just use Cobalt. No? Cobalt. Okay, then once you you choose this, then you click OK. All right, then it will transform now your interface to be in the Cobalt mode. Okay, clear so far? Once again, class, kindly chat please if we're clear so far. Okay, if I'm going too fast, class, kindly tell me. All right. So that's the first thing that I want to discuss with you. Now, the second thing is the type of reports that you're going to generate. Okay, let me share with you some, first, some outputs from last term, because these are outputs that I want you to generate. Okay, let me pause share first. I'm looking for the folder. Ano nga ba yung pangalan na binigay ko sa folder? Wait, ha? I forgot the name. Hold the line. Let me pause share first. Pause recording. Okay. Can you see the screen, class? Okay, so this is an example. Of course, this can be improved more. Okay, so take a look at this output. You have here the side table of contents. Okay, you have an image here. You have a plot here. Another plots, and then of course this one we don't want, because if ever there are long results, this should not be part of the body itself. No, this should already be part of the appendix. Okay, so these are outputs that can be generated using our Markdown. Okay, there are other better, but you can now see that. Imagine doing this in Word. Okay, you have the text, and then you have an image. You have to copy that from whatever software you used. Okay, but here in R, okay, this is all in R Markdown. So everything here is in R Markdown. Okay, so you can just see how convenient it is. Of course, you'll need to do some coding. Okay, and this is the type of output that I require of you in this subject. So whatever case, whether it's individual or group case, it should be in good format, okay, in good research format. And this is an HTML file. This is the advantage of R, because you can render your output. This is rendered as an HTML file. You can also render it as a Word file or PDF file. Okay. Now, the good thing is there are many sources that you can use to guide you as far as generating. For example, let's if you Google this, for example, generating or create, let's say create a research output, say with bibliography, table of contents, etc. Bibliography using R Markdown. Okay, there are many sources that you can use. Okay. Sorry. So it focused on bibliography. I'll just put with research output. Okay, create a research output using R Markdown. Okay, so there are videos. You can watch this video. And there are so many tutorials. Okay, for example, this one, maybe we can, let's try this. Chapter 5, R Markdown in reproducible research. All right, so maybe I'll share with you the link. Of course, there are many others. No? Wala na yung, yung... I want to discuss this so that I don't have to discuss this again in the future, so that you can also already start doing your finding out how to create your, let's say, your title page. It should contain the LaSalle logo. So all reports should be in good format. Hindi pa pwede yung basta-basta na lang na parang nag-generate lang kayo ng ano. You spend some time formatting your output. That should be in preparation for those of you who are going to do your thesis yet. I know some of you, or at least one of you, has already done his thesis. So hindi niya medyo kailangan na to, no? Pero for the rest of you who are still going to do your thesis, or maybe you're having your thesis one now, this can be very helpful. Okay, so I just shared with you a site, ang daming site pa no na pwede niyong gamitin, and there are thousands of sites that you can use. Let's just take a look at this. Ano sabi nito? No? 5 benefits of R Markdown for your daily scientific work, or in our case, research work. You can keep an eye on text, the paper, and the source code. So R Markdown allows us to combine the source, the paper, the output, and the code in one document. Okay, so these computational steps are essential to ensure computational reproducibility. What does reproducibility mean? We have reached an age in such a way where it's important that you share your research. When you share it, others should be able to replicate it or reproduce it. Yun ang issue ng reproducibility. You can easily share R Markdown documents with colleagues as supplemental material or as the paper under review. So you can either share the paper itself or the code itself. Okay, and there's this package called knitr, which allows us to be able to generate your R Markdown file as an HTML file. What I showed you a while ago is an HTML file. Okay, let me show you another one. Okay, let me pause share. I'll try to find another one. Okay, yung may ano sana, yung may looking for okay, this one medyo I don't like the font. Tsaka hindi nila inano yung mga hindi nila renowned yung mga ano. This could be improved. However, I just wanted to point out that here HTML file to, tingnan nyo class, no? Dynamic table to. I can, let's say, show 25 entries. 10 lang yata, no? Limited yata yung data nila. But you can have a dynamic table even in an HTML file. So this is also a combination of yan yung plots. Okay. So this is my expectation in your outputs. Hindi lang basta-basta dapat ano siya, formal paper, no? So ando dun yung parts. Ang kulang dito yung bibliography and appendix. So dapat kompleto class. Okay, my table of contents, my first page containing yung LaSalle logo, the subject, etc. Okay, so let me go back to the site that we were looking at. So there should be no reason, class, for you to close ko nga lang to, dali. Asan na yung this one? Okay. So ito may summary siya, no? Creating R Markdown documents in 5 easy steps. You can follow this, and of course marami pang iba, no? So what controls the output is the YAML, which I mentioned last time, di ba? Ito yung YAML. This is what appears first in the R Markdown file. Take note, I'm saying R Markdown file kasi you cannot do this in an R script file. All right? So andito yung title, yung author, yung date, yung output. This is very basic. You can modify this so that it will contain yung, let's say, yung table of contents, pati yung ibang laman, no? Let me show you also another example. Ito naman, dissertation. Okay, saan yung dissertation? Okay, so this is an example of a discussion where you can write your dissertation. Ang dissertation kasi mas mas mahirap siya kaysa sa thesis, no? Thesis ng undergrad, thesis ng masters, tsaka yung dissertation na sa PhD. So among those three papers, yung siyempre yung dissertation ang pinakamahirap at saka yung dissertation ang mas maraming rigor ang kailangan, no? So this is a good discussion on how to create a dissertation using R Markdown. So if you can create a dissertation using R Markdown, you can of course create a research output. Okay. Some of the packages that you need is, for example, ito, TinyText, no? TinyText. This is used for yung formatting ng data. Okay, maybe I should also share this with you. I've seen also some sites on doing masters using R Markdown, but I leave that for you to find. Share ko lang tong. Okay, so let's briefly take a look at this. So ito sabi niya yung okay, and this is what I also do. All right. Sabi niya dito, step by steps to, no? Let me increase the size. Okay, creating a complex PDF. So your PDF can include text, figures, references, images, formatting, and more, all using R Markdown. So imagine yung bibliography, di ba? Dati yung bibliography, tinatype nyo pa yan, or you can get it from, let's say, EBSCO or from ProQuest, and then ask ProQuest to give you an APA format of the reference. Pero ito class, you can code it in R so that yung references, yung bibliography, will be of course, it will be generated at the last part, and then APA format siya, all in the R Markdown. So everything can be done using R Markdown. So you're just using one software, no? Right? And I leave you guys to read this through. Okay, of course, hindi naman kayo na dissertation, pero you can have good insights here. You can follow some of the you can pattern your paper in some of the suggested ways to do it here. When you write a document, whether it's an essay, scientific report, undergraduate dissertation, or thesis, it's going to be structured in different sections. Okay, so usually we have 5 basic parts, yung introduction, yung methodology, yung results, discussion, and bibliography. These are the 5 basic points. Of course, yung sa atin mas marami pa ng konti. If you consider a published paper or thesis, this also contain an abstract. You can create an abstract in R, perhaps a section with abbreviations, and at the end, present a section with supplementary information or appendix. Okay, this all can be done in R Markdown. Okay, and the aim of this tutorial is to successfully write your thesis or whatever with R Markdown. It's useful to consider the number of sections necessary to your output and to avoid writing everything in one single R Markdown. So ito, kasi dissertation to, no? Ang suggestion niya talaga, mas one document for the title, one document for the main, one document for the methodology, etc. In our case, pwede namang isang ano na lang, kasi hindi naman yung output nyo thesis, hindi naman siya dissertation. This is only recommended if you will have such a big file. Kasi dissertation na yan, so medyo malaki yan, no? In fact, for sake of easier read and better organization, but also faster upload of the final PDF, we are going to create multiple RMD files. But you can still do that if you want for your projects, no? Pwede isang file, isang RMD file for the title, isang RMD file for the body, isang RMD file for the methodology, etc. Okay, so let me just I will not anymore discuss this. You can just in fact, sinare niya yung link, no, para you can just copy the codes, or it's also given here yung codes na to, for example. So take note of the YAML now, class, no? Dito na class maglalaro yung YAML, no? Ito na. So it's not just the simple title, output, name, date, hindi lang ganun. The YAML is so powerful that you can format your output in such a way that you will be able to generate what you want. So ito may mga ibang packages, no? Yung float, section style, paragraph list, etc. And one good thing with this reference is that inexplain niya kung ano yung laman ng mga yan. No? Okay, I will not go anymore into the details of this, but you can, of course, use this as a reference in generating your output. Okay, so ito pwede nyo pang i-copy, no? So centering naman to, all sections, centering, subsection, etc. Right aligned, etc. And this is an example of the front page. Okay, begin, centering, and centering. So ibig sabihin nito, class, dun sa front page na to, naka-center from the start to the bottom. And here, ito yung code na linagay niya. Okay, let me just show you the output. Ito yung output class. Yan. So he was able to generate the first page, the front page. Andun yung logo ng university niya. Okay? Andun yung name ng university, yung whatever department, and then the title of the paper, and then the author, and then in partial fulfillment, and then the date. Okay, you can also include my name as your professor. Okay, so this can be generated in R Markdown. Okay, and it just takes some, of course, my learning curve. No? Pero ito lang yung class, ito. Ito lang yung front page niya, no? Ito. Hindi. May, asan na yung ano? Wait lang, asan na yung image? Andito yung image. Okay, this one, no? Front page. We need to add the author, the degree, and the date. Ito, no? Vertical space, 1 centimeter, normal size, single spacing, by, no? Tapos vertical space na naman, large, yung name ng author, vertical space 1.5, in partial fulfillment, ito yung kanina, di ba? And then vertical space, normal size, and then month and year. All right, so the result of that is this one. Okay, so that will be one RMD file. So naka-separate yung RMD file for your title page. And then naka-separate din yung RMD file for your main text, and then another one for your methodology. All right? So this is the whole, ito yung whole na code for the YAML, okay, and then for the title page. Okay, and then we have the next one for your abstract. Okay. Sample lang ng abstract to. And then the table of contents. So saan ba linalagay yung table of contents? Okay, you can define kung ano yung numbering, Roman ba siya, centering, etc. No? So these are all formatting as regards your table of contents. Okay? All right. So hanggang bibliography yan. And I think there's an example here below. And then ito yung pag-merge class, no? Yan. Pag-merge. All the text we've written so far is spelled correctly, and then be ready to knit the main document. So you can knit. You can merge the different RMD files. Okay, so the advantage of this, especially if you're working with a big file, mas maganda kung naka-separate na ano. Mas mahirap ma-manage kung isang malaking file eh. So you can separate the main parts of your paper. All right. So I'm sure for my students before, hindi ko masyadong, I didn't pay much attention to this. Pero when I was getting outputs from the students that were really not satisfactory kasi parang walang ka-format man lang, it will not pass as a student output. Kasi di ba pag nagsasubmit kayo ng output, pino-format nyo yan, di ba? May title page, etc. So I was getting submissions that were really not, kasalanan ko rin kasi hindi ko rin require, no? But for this subject, okay, kailangan may required output tayo. So dapat may title page, may, of course, my table of contents, my abstract. If needed, sasabihin ko naman kung kailangan ng abstract. And then the main part, and then the siguro another separate for methodology, etc., etc. So depende sa topic. Okay, so I know you have medyo baka na overload na kayo, no? Pero class, hindi naman kagad-kagad yan. But I'm sharing this with you so that at least you know what are my expectations from your outputs. So hindi lang dapat tama yung content, pati dapat yung format, ayusin yung format. And that will be something also you'll be proud of and also share to others. Makikita nila ang ganda ng output mo, may yung output according to APA, and of course we can also make use of this as parang natin sa department, pag kunyari may pa-ASCII, and we can display this as outputs of students in this subject, etc. Okay, any questions so far, class? Questions, comments? Pa-comment naman please, kahit anong comment. Anything? I'm sure may comment kayo, no? I'm sure you have something in your mind. Kindly please, what's in your mind now? Be honest about it. Mahirap ba? Ang dami palang powerful ba siya? I'm sure hindi naman blank wall yung nyo, yung brains nyo, no? What did you feel? What have you felt about what we have discussed so far? Okay, thank you, Aaron. Many customizations. Yeah, that's correct, no? Talagang maraming customization features. How about the others, please? Wow, good. Thank you, Rhea. Yeah. Taking pre-thesis. Yeah, thank you, Franz. Yeah. Alam mo, makakatulong to, no? Makakatulong to. Why I challenge you, why don't you use R Markdown for your thesis? Hindi na yung dati kasi, tayo sa and besides, oh, by the way, how can you now, let's say, how can you now share this? Kasi kung grupo kayo, di ba, dati ang ginagamit nyo yung Google Docs, right? Google Docs, of course, has its advantages. Kasi, accessible sa lahat yun eh. Paano tong R Markdown na to? How can that be accessible? Yes, pwede yan. If you create a GitHub. No? So I suggest that you learn also how to create a GitHub because that can be accessible to all. Yun ay panglaban ng isang programming na ganito ng R Markdown sa Google Docs. Kasi sa Google Docs, 'di ba, if you have an access to that, you can edit the document or the spreadsheet. Kaso nga lang, of course, alam niyo yung limitation ng kung document man lang, hindi makakarun ng code 'yon, 'di ba? Magka-copy paste pa rin kayo doon. Pag R, okay? Pag R, ando doon na mismo, palitan niyo yung code automatically na 'yon. You don't have to transfer it to another document because it can be rendered or knitted to a Word file or to a PDF file. Ando doon na, no? You just have to render it at the end. So, talagang malaki yung tulong, no? Yes, Michael, what's your question? Michael, what's your question? Hello, Michael? Okay, nawala. It kind of like generates the research. Yung output, siyempre kayo maglalagay ng doon. Hindi chat GPT na. Although sa R may chat GPT na rin. But of course, by the way, class, may integrity principle tayo. Bawal ang output using chat GPT. Okay? So, of course, I know because I can also access chat GPT. If you have access to it, I also have access to it, no? So, hindi pa pwede yung Of course, pwede namang as a tool yun, and then you can perhaps just get some guidelines from that. or copy some portions, pero hindi pa pwede yung buong paper nyo naka-chat GPT generated. Unfortunately, class, you might be using it, but I can use it also. Yun ang yun ang disadvantage as far as you're concerned sa technology kasi whatever technology is available for you, it's also available for me, di ba? Okay, a bit overwhelmed. Yes, that's true. So many things to learn. That's why I discussed it already, no? So simulan niyo na class, mag-research kayo. Yung mga simple ano muna, simple task kunyari, i-ano niyo, gawin yung project ngayon. How do I Okay, it's already time, no? How do I create now yung title page? Kahit title page muna. Subukan niyo yung tutorial dito, no? Title page, kunin niyo yung logo ng Lasal, tapos use that, and then sige, generate niyo. Diba? I'm sure you'll be happy to generate a title page na doon yung logo ng Lasal, no? Okay? So maybe next meeting, dun sa ano natin, I'll request you to share kung naka-generate kayo ng title page. Okay? So it's already time plus. Let me stop recording. Okay, it's challenging, of course, but